So I didn't want to make this video for a while because this game just pissed me off. Just straight up, it pissed me off for so many reasons. And I actually did something that I've never done before. I made an entire, note list of things that I want to talk about. One thing that I will not be talking about in this video is the drives, the touchdowns, the touchdown plays, because at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter, because the final score was 36-35, 34-30. I don't remember, because I don't give a shit. I don't remember. All I remember is how badly the Chiefs pissed me off this game. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it, right? Let's do it. Ravens injured list. Huge. Ravens injured list was huge. And we played like shit against them. These were all the backup guys, all the guys who were probably on the practice squad in the preseason, but you know, I don't have the names on me because I'm not a Ravens fan. I don't have the names on me because I don't give a shit, because I only follow the Chiefs in this league. But what I do know is that the Ravens have a tremendous injured list right now, probably the length of a CVS receipt, which is relatable because that's how the Rays pitching staff has been all season long. So I get it, I understand. But the fact that the Chiefs couldn't do anything against a bunch of backups, embarrassing. Extremely embarrassing. I want you to know that it's actually very early in the morning of Sunday. It's actually 3:30 in the morning that I'm just now getting around to this video of week 3, right? So the Chiefs are going to play the Chargers in less than 10 hours. And I'm just now making this video because that's how badly this game pissed me off. The Chiefs defense, I guess, is the main talking point in this video because they're fucking terrible. They're terrible. I mean, they're not just terrible, they're worse than that, if that's even possible. I don't have a strong vocabulary, but if there's a word that's bigger than terrible, then that's exactly that, because this Chiefs defense is just not fun to watch in the slightest. It's bad. And it's bad to the point where we have an elite offense and we're losing games because of the defense. That's how bad they are. It's bad. The defense is trash. Okay, just you remember how pissed off I would get back in the 2018 season at Bob Sutton, the defensive coordinator at the time for the Chiefs, because he wouldn't make any adjustments week in and week out, and the Chiefs defense would not improve. They just wouldn't improve. In fact, it felt like they would get worse every week. Watching that defense performance in week 2 against the Ravens felt like watching Bob Sutton's defense all over again from 3 years ago. In fact, there were points in the game where it felt even worse than any of those Bob Sutton defense games. I guess you could make the exception that maybe the Chiefs-Rams game, where the Chiefs became the first team in NFL history to score 50 points and lose, could be a fair comparison. But at the end of the day, they look trash. The current defense looks totally terrible. Now, I will give you one exception. Tyrann Mathieu played outstandingly. Towards the end of the game, he was penalized for an illegal touching call, which was just terrible. One of the worst calls you'll see in this league. And a lot of Chiefs fans on social media decided to blame that on the loss. As bad as that call was, that is nowhere near the reason the Chiefs lost that game. And the only reason I mention that call is because there are actual Chiefs fans using it as an excuse as to why we lost. It's not an excuse. It's not a very good one at all, actually, because the Chiefs lost fair and square. Their defense is just shit. Their defense is just a pile of dog shit at the end of the day. They're terrible. So that illegal touching call, yeah, I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The Chiefs' defense is terrible. It doesn't matter how bad a call is. And I just want to give this on a side note. Ever since I became a football referee, which I'm very new to it, I've done it for a little bit over a year now. But ever since I started getting into the whole job, and I'm pretty low in the ranks, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm doing flag football and I'm doing some like U14 tackle here and there. So the games I do aren't huge deals. But at the end of the day, they are still football games. And me being the referee, it's so easy for fans to just ref this, ref that, ref's fault. You don't really understand how difficult the job is until you start doing it. So ever since I became a referee myself a little bit over a year ago, I have just grown a tremendous respect for referees in the league. And so I don't like to blame them as much as I used to. I mean, they still have games where I'm pissed off at them. Yeah, of course, everybody does at the end of the day. They're referees. But there is a new side of me that has a newfound respect that I wouldn't have had in previous years. So yeah, it was a bad call. I'm not gonna lie, but it didn't determine the final score. What determined the final score was a fucking terrible defense. Last week 1 against the Browns, the O-line was new. Obviously, that's what every Chiefs fan was watching, was the O-line. Everybody wanted to see, okay, is this going to be an improvement from last year? Because everybody knows that the Chiefs' biggest weakness, and it wasn't even close in the 2020 season, was the offensive line. They were I don't even want to talk about it. They were not bad. They were worse than bad. Kind of like this current defense. And so everybody's eyes were kind of on the O-line in week 1, and they didn't seem that great. Just straight up, they did not seem that great. They didn't impress me at all. But in week 2, they actually performed rather well, and I was impressed. It seemed like they improved pretty dramatically over that 1 week, and that's a pretty promising sign if they can continue to play the way they did against the Ravens. So just a positive note there. On a shit game, the O-line looked pretty good. And they seem to be improving, which is to be expected. It's a new core of guys, and you have to assume that it's going to take them time to get good as a team. And it seemed like in just 1 week, they're already starting to improve, and that's a good sign. Yeah, Tyrann Mathieu is pretty much the only good player on the defense. He had a pick 6 real early to start the game, which was dope. And he had some pretty big stops as well. So Tyrann Mathieu played fantastically. Everybody else, not so much. Right now, the Chiefs do not look like a top 5 team. And it's all because of the defense. They do not look like a top 5 team. And if anybody is going on their early Super Bowl predictions and whatever, don't even throw the Chiefs in that category. They are not anywhere near a Super Bowl caliber team as of this moment, because I mean, the defense is just that bad, and they're not going to get you there. And so changes have to be made there. So that's another thing I wrote down here that I wanted to talk about, was just that, every season, first couple weeks, people love to talk about, oh, Super Bowl is going to be this and that. It's like, dude, it's 3 months away, 4 months away. How you going to know? You don't know. But, people throwing the Chiefs in that category as of this moment in time, it's a stupid choice, because we are not, by any means, a Super Bowl caliber team after that shit show they put up. Clyde EdwardsHelaire had the game sealing fumble. Clyde EdwardsHelaire, the Chiefs had the final drive of the game, and with a chance to win it, for whatever reason, they decided to hand off the ball to Clyde EdwardsHelaire, a 5'10" running back who, is okay. He's average. But after that, yeah, I'm not a big fan of him. You know what? He's never really, he's shown flashes here and there, CEH. But he's never really been the type of running back where I look at him and I'm like, he's going to be good. He's going to be really good one day. I think he's a bust. If you want my honest take, I think he's a bust of a first-round pick from the Kansas City Chiefs. I really do. To draft a 5'10" running back, I don't care how damn good you were in college. This is the NFL. If you're 5'10" at the running back position, chances are that it's going to be pretty tough to gain success in the NFL. That's just the way it is. I think Clyde EdwardsHelaire is a bust. I'm not afraid to say that. And I think he was a waste of a first-round draft pick. I don't say that because he had the fumble in this game. I just say that because he hasn't proven to me over the last year that he's an NFL ready running back. It just hasn't. And I think his size has to do a lot I think it has a lot to do with that. His size being 5'10". And it's not being said, oh, you're small, that means you can't be an NFL player. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's very difficult to be an NFL player being 5'10", whatever it is. So I think Clyde EdwardsHelaire is trash. I'm going to say it right now. And what else do I want to go over here? All right, finally, Andy Reid. Andy Reid, more and more, the more I watch this Chiefs team, the more Andy Reid is starting to kind of piss me off. I'm not going to lie. Now, Andy Reid, just to me, listen. The way I view the Chiefs is that we have one of the best offenses in league history. We have Tyreek Hill, we have Travis Kelce, and we have Patrick Mahomes. We have Patrick Mahomes, okay? Why are we not scoring 40 points a game? I don't get it. I really don't get it. I feel like with the offense that the Chiefs have, we shouldn't be close in these games. I just don't think we should be close in these games. I think by the time the fourth quarter starts, the Chiefs should have a 14-point lead on anybody that they play in this league. I really genuinely feel that way about the Chiefs. I think our offense is that good, and when you have a guy like Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, I don't think there's any excuse to not be up by at least a touchdown to start any fourth quarter against any team. And it's a perfect example, the Clyde EdwardsHelaire fumble to end the game. Why the fuck, when you have Patrick Mahomes, are you handing the ball off to Clyde EdwardsHelaire when you have like 2 minutes left in the game to go? Less than 2 minutes. Why the hell are you handing it off to Clyde EdwardsHelaire when you have Patrick Mahomes? Why are we doing it? I think in any situation where the Chiefs are behind and they have a chance to go on a game-winning drive, you let Mahomes throw the ball. You let Mahomes throw the ball all he wants. And if he throws a game-ending interception, so be it. I'm not even mad because Mahomes doesn't make that many mistakes. He's Patrick fucking Mahomes, okay? So if he throws a game-ending pick, so be it, all right? And so that's just one of the things about Andy Reid. Why are you handing off to Clyde EdwardsHelaire when you have Patrick Mahomes? For years and years, everybody talks about his conservative play calling. And because he has such a good team around him, everybody's just kind of let it slide. Like, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We won the Super Bowl in 2020. You know what? Let it slide. He's a conservative play caller, but he won a Super Bowl. You know, I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting tired of it because, once again, I don't think that we should be close in these games at all. Especially with how terrible the defense is. You have to run up the score. You have to score 40 points a game if you want a chance of beating any NFL team. With the defense that the Chiefs have, you have to score 40 points every fucking game. Because you have a defense this trash, and I wouldn't be surprised if by week 6 they were dead last in the NFL defense rankings by stats. You know, why are we not scoring 40 points a game? And I feel like a lot of that has to do with Andy Reid's conservative play calling. And I'm not suggesting you fire the guy because he's a damn good coach at the end of the day. He's been in this league a long time and he knows what he's doing. Low battery notification. He's been in this league a long time and he knows what he's doing. Right? So I'm not suggesting we fire the guy. Because when you get a good coach, you keep him around. Because what happens when you fire him? Then you have a shittier coach come in and then you end up missing the guy that you fired. That's what happens with most of these teams. But his conservative play calling is just starting to piss me off a lot. You hand off to Clyde EdwardsHelaire on the final drive of the game when you have Patrick Mahomes. Let Patrick Mahomes take control of the game. And if he's the reason that we end up losing, then that's okay. I forgive him because he's one of the best quarterbacks this league has ever seen. Okay, and And that's all I have, really. That's all I have, really. I'm sorry that this came so late. Again, the Chiefs pissed me off so badly after that loss. It wasn't a loss where it's just like, oh, you know what, it's a one-off, we'll be back next week. That's the case for most losses, especially in these last couple of years. That's been mostly the case. It's just, oh, it's a one-off, we'll be back next week, whatever. This was one of those losses. It truly was one of those losses where you start to feel like you're capable of losing to anybody that you play against. It was that bad of a loss. It was one of the most defeating, heartbreaking regular season losses in a long time. For me, at least, in a really long time, in like 3 or 4 years. It's one of those regular season losses where you're just like, damn, we're trash. And if the Chiefs don't figure their shit out, the Raiders seem to have their shit figured out right now. And I understand that the Raiders typically start off pretty hot, then fall off towards the end of the year. But if we start, if we don't improve, if we don't fix this shit show that we have, it's going to be a long, long season. I can tell you that much. It's going to be a long season. So with that being said, that's all I got. I will catch you whenever. Chargers game is in less than 10 hours. Hopefully the Chiefs can win, but you never know. So I'll catch you then, and thanks for watching. Peace out.